On Tuesday, 26 July 2022, the Prudential Authority obtained an order from the High Court of South Africa to place Constantia Insurance under provisional curatorship. On 30 August, an update was sent out and it was decided that Constantia will be placed into liquidation. All active policies were cancelled with a 31-day notice. Prior to this happening, I've done some interviews with all of the Constantia partners and all seemed healthy and well. After the news broke, I approached a few partners for a follow-up conversation as we believe it's critical that the brokers also get a better picture of the situation. So I'm chatting today to Coetzee from Azriel Aviation and Fonto from Stratum Benefits. So welcome back, guys. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
So it will be a casual conversation, just to get a big picture of what has transpired since the news broke. So, Jan, maybe we can start with you. For us, it was quite a sudden and a quick thing that happened. So when you got the news, you've got a whole different relationship with Constantia, a very important relationship, and it impacts your business immensely. What went through your mind when you got the news?
Well, we obviously have in terms of our agreement with them, at monthly portfolio reviews. And in July, we met with our portfolio manager there, and he made one or two comments about PA this and PA that. And initially, I didn't click. And then I said to him, just explain to him, what are you referring to? Then he said, Prudential Authority. So, oh, okay. And after the meeting, I immediately phoned our reinsurance broker because I said, you placed a marine UMA with him as well, didn't you? And he said, yes. I said, and he said, yeah, I'm not concerned. So the week after, we actually had a meeting with one of the Exco guys, and he said, guys, it doesn't look good. He said, at this stage, I can't see that it's going to turn out any other way than with the going of the PA route. And the reality is, so we started looking around as for alternatives. And I mean, the Tuesday, and I remember it distinctly, we were away, but I made a call to the guy at Constantia, and I said to him, listen, that was just the weekend after that, the insurance conference at Sun City. And I said, you know what, this thing is still troubling me because what is happening? And he actually said to me, Jan, he said, Peter Todd was at the conference and made assurances and that. He said, so yeah, they're busy with something. So I said, all right, that's great. And the Wednesday night, I got a WhatsApp from the RI broker who say, listen, we need to chat urgently because apparently they already had the meeting with the PA. And I made more calls, but at that stage, what can you do? It was just sort of a hearsay rumor thing. And obviously, as I said, the Monday, I mean, I had two of the finance guys here and asked questions, and they didn't even know what was going on. So, yeah, so obviously when the formal announcement came, then yeah, we had to deal with it. And then you really need to make a move to secure your business and keep your clients and keep your brokers happy, etc. So yeah, so I'm really glad August is gone. Look, there's obviously ramifications, but that's probably another topic down the line. So
yeah, Marco, what went through your mind?
It was pretty much the same situation. I mean, my relationship with Constantia goes back probably more than 17 years. They're basically the only insurer I've ever dealt with. So it's a very, very long relationship, and I mean, it's over that amount of time, you build up a lot of trust, and you build very good relationships.
Exactly.
And yeah, obviously there was always an issue with well, it wasn't always an issue, but of late, of the last few years, there was an issue with regards to you know, the fact that they were always looking for deals or looking for this, and every time you spoke to somebody there, everything was on the up and up, and this deal had just been signed, and this was, you know, they were looking at this and looking at that. So it was always like there was never any major concern, you know. In hindsight, probably should have been, but it was fine. I mean, to be honest with you, I never had an issue where my claims weren't paid. I never had an issue where it literally it ran like clockwork for 17 years.
Yeah.
Through good years and bad years. I mean, there was never. Not once was there any sort of, you always think there's going to be these telltale signs, but to be honest with you, there never was. So, I mean, the fact is that it was a massive shock, when it did happen, then you start kicking yourself because you wish you had a third leg, when that happened, because you're like, did I not see this coming? But the bottom line is you also running your business and you focused on other things. And but it was a massive shock, and I suppose that was your question, so that's the answer. It was a massive shock.
Yeah. No, I am sure. I think the whole industry was in shock, and you are two of quite a few partners that are dealing with Discovery. I mean, they pulled in quite new ones in the last year and two. So I think for them it's quite hectic. So you both found a new home in Guard Risk, which I'm very happy for you and your clients, and obviously the people working for you about. So maybe you can just tell us a bit about the journey. What is all the things that has been an issue? I mean, what is that process that you have to go through? It's not literally you take your book over to the new guys.
Yeah, I know.
share some of that journey, and maybe you both can touch on that, Marco and Jan. You can share the journey with us.
Me first.
Jan, go ahead.
Okay. In everybody, I've had a chat with various people, and they say, we are so over-regulated. Compliance, this, compliance, that, and you'll treat customers fairly. And I mean, it's actually such a joke of what the Prudential Authority and even the curator did. And this is my opinion, and I'll keep on sticking to it. If you look at correspondence that went out to say I've been privy to a letter that was written to a company by the curator, basically reprimanding him for taking over Constantia business, and even that Sahia must address this issue with their members, and blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, there's another letter saying, hey, listen, guys, in a nice way, basically find yourself another home. And also what I don't appreciate, and touching on what Marcus said earlier, I mean, the people we dealt with at Constantia, fantastic. I mean, we got along super well. I mean, I always compliment guests. I said to them, guys, claim payments, our underwriting fee payments. I mean, the moment it sends, long as it sends by 10 o'clock in the morning, boom, that night, the premium comes or the payments be made. So trustingly, we sent through our 2 invoices for August, and then all of a sudden I start getting weary. For now, nothing's been said, but for 5 days, nothing's been paid. So eventually, when I addressed this issue with them, it's like, well, no, we need the curator must decide this. So needless to say, we haven't received a cent from them since July. There's a profit commission at stake. That's another story. But coming back to our FSCA, so obviously due to follow the right protocol, Guarders, because they haven't done aviation for a while, they had to technically provide the regulator with 3 days notice to say, listen, we want your blessing that we can do this, which means we could have only effectively started training from 1st of October. Now, bearing in mind, we haven't been able to write any new business in August, probably same as Mark and them and the other guys. So they then write a letter to the FSCA as Guarders, and you know, as I say, the irony in this is the fact that they're harping on all, you know, protecting the policy holders, or treat customers fairly. The FSCA sat on the letter giving the approval that they can waive the 30-day notice, that you can actually start from 1st of September. They sat on that letter for a week. We got it 6 o'clock, after 6 o'clock on the 30th of August, to say you guys can now go from 1st of September. And then it came with a long list of demands of the things we had to tick the boxes within that time. So, you know, the whole thing is, I think it's, and we're probably going to get to your point 6 later. But I think a lot of things, so it wasn't a walk in the park. We're very grateful that we managed to do something so quickly in a very short space of time. But yeah, that's just, you know, our little journey.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same situation. Constantia, we had a meeting with the curator and with the MD and the representative from the audit firm now that I forget that he was, yeah. And, you know, we were assured in that meeting, obviously it was a meeting that happened just after the announcement, and everything in that meeting was like, you know, guys, don't panic. You know, don't worry. We was like, what are we going to do about new business? They were like, no, they're going to go to the Prudential Authority and this will be lifted. You know what I mean? It was just don't, you know, really, you don't have to panic. Everything's in hand. You know, what was brought across in that meeting was this is something that we'll easily sort out. Okay, obviously, you know, I've been in business for longer than a day, so I knew when I walked out of that meeting that it was pretty much over. But yeah, so I knew that, and then obviously the claims, Constantia stopped paying claims, I think on very, very early in August, which obviously put us in a very bad position and put a lot of underwriting managers in a shocking position.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's one thing to move to a new reinsurer in less than a month, okay? And remember, I mean, you're doing a due diligence. Our business is, you know, probably close to 190,000 members. Okay, so you're going to do a due diligence, okay, in less than a month. You have to inform all of those members because we were not granted amnesty from consent. So to this day, we are still getting consent.
Yes.
And just the amount of pressure just from having to comply, and the amount of pressure in terms of having to come up with claims, payments, broker commissions. And remember, and I'm not harping, I mean, like, I'm not making my business out to be, but the thing is, so in my business, it's pretty much, you know, you have your client who is expecting a claim payment, you have a broker who's expecting commission, and you also have 99% of the time, you have a medical practitioner which is also wanting his money. Okay, so you can't just not pay one of them. Everybody has to be paid. So, so you know, there was a lot for us to. There was a lot of balls that we were juggling at once in the air there. So yeah. So that was just that to me was. I just wish there was more transparency in this whole. You know, rather just tell the truth. Because literally, when you people don't realize, and I'm sure a lot of people have been in this situation, but. I'm sure, Jan, you'll agree with me. When you're in this situation, seconds count. Never mind days, because you have no time. You have no time.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Mark, I think one of the, you know, but you know, as I say, which was shocking. I mean, there were letters being circulated from the curator, which we only found one letter I received 2 weeks later. you know, and then, but it's already been circulated in the market. So we look like absolute fools. Like, but I thought, you know, and this, and then you sit and it looks like you don't know what to do, but you're not being privy to everything. And as I say, and as you correctly say, from, you know, initially the promises made, and then they did a complete 180 on it type of thing, you know, honoring this, honoring that. No, nothing was on it. So.
Did you lose any clients in the process, Jan?
Yeah, we did. You know, we don't have a massive book of business, but yeah, we probably lost about 10% or so. And then obviously, and then as you know, Marco was touching it on that, is I had to have that first picked up the phone, and I think that's just the right way to do it, because also I've been dealing with assessors and repairers for known them for 30 years, and have to make that call and say, listen, we've submitted your fee, but my friend, I've known you for a long time. It's gone into the liquidation process. I'm sorry. So luckily we didn't have many of those. But as a token of goodwill, I made a sort of a contribution towards their fees, just to say, guys, just to show, you know, we're really sincere about this, and honestly, but yeah, I still sit with the broker that hasn't been paid his commission. You know, and again, it's a small company for him. It's like, but where am I going to get my money? You know, it's, yeah, not a pleasant situation.
Marco, did you lose clients?
No, luckily we didn't. We actually were very lucky. Our brokers basically stood by us. You know what I mean? They said it's fine. I mean, we were obviously we were brutally honest with them in terms of what was happening. And we were just lucky that, you know, we found a new home fast. And our brokers, luckily we were able to meet all of our commitments with our claims payments and our commissions. So, you know, we put in a lot of commitment from our side, and they stuck with us. So we didn't lose any clients, and the transition through to Guardrisk has been very smooth, very smooth indeed. What a fantastic company to deal with. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a professional, fantastic company to deal with.
That's really good news, and I think once again you touch on an important thing, and that is relationships in this industry. Yep. Both of you have mentioned that. I think that's one thing that really stands out, is the fact that we've got incredible relationships, and once you have those relationships, it will take you far. My next question was, do you feel the situation could have been handled differently? And for both of you, I sense a lot of the fact that there was not communication, something that often lacks in many relationships. Is that, I think, the most important thing for you, Jan?
No, absolutely. And as I say, and even to take it a couple of steps back, you know, you have all these rules and regulations, and I mean, the compliance we have to do it, and we have to follow and adhere to, and disclosure notices and blah, blah, blah. But this thing was on the radar under the PA's radar for a while. So a lot of guys asked the question, but why come they were allowed more and more extension after extension, you know? And yeah, so saying even the fact that, again, on the FSCA side, I mean, if that is your duty to protect the policyholder, then surely, in Marcus said earlier on, it's like, I mean, we are on a deadline of producing consent where the clients have given, versus just saying, listen, we send out the documentation to each and every client that we have. We say, this is the scenario. Now you with Guardrisk, proper company, well rated, etc., etc. But the thing is still, they don't know what you need to show is that the client actually accepted it, that he's self-signed to say that he's great. So yeah, it's sort of like a double standard type of thing, I think.
Marco, your comment on they feel the situation could have been handled differently?
Look, yes, it could have, of course. You know, I feel, you know, because I've had a relationship with Constantia for so long, I mean, it's heartbreaking that so many people there now have lost their jobs. You know, you do have to, I do understand that there was issues with Constantia, but from that perspective, you sort of wish that maybe it could have been handled in a different way. I mean, it was still, you know, it was still, in my view, a company that was able to employ people. It had very, very good clients. You know, it was running a profitable book. Many of its lines were extremely profitable. I just think it's extremely sad that the whole thing had to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And all those people had to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
That's very sad for me, because there was a lot of good people there.
It is most certainly a very, very sad situation. I 100% agree with you. Any advice, Marco, maybe you can start with you, advice to UMAs, how do you avoid getting into a situation like this? Is there anything you can say to that?
I think you just have to pay extremely close attention to, obviously the risk rating that your reinsurer has. And I think it would even go so far as to write into your contract that if they receive any communication, from the Prudential Authority on anything, or there's anything, that you are actually copied in on that communication. Because I don't know about you, Jan, but I mean, I never received anything from the Prudential Authority to warn me that my reinsurer had either missed this deadline or missed this deadline, or this was the 4th time or 5th time they were warning them. I never received any of that thing.
And
I saw
that. And I think that's a brilliant point, Mark. I think from their side, and coming back, as I say, it's there's so much pressure on us to perform and ticking all the right boxes, but surely they also had a role to play in this, and to say, listen, guys, to everybody, I would notify the whole market to say these guys have not come up with the capital that they promised as per their letter in December that went out. So basically, we've given them another 3-month extension. And it's not there, then that's it. Cheers. Have a nice day. I mean, then you could have everybody have enough time, But I think that's a fantastic point. Yeah.
I just think that should be almost a requirement. Is that it's sent out to role players within all business partners. So that you are able to make a decision on that. Otherwise, you have financials to work off. And I mean, yes, I mean, it's an insurance company. The financials, they got, the audits were clean. They still got their rating in terms of, their insurance ratings. It's not like the ratings agencies refused to rate them. They obviously gave them their ratings and raised these concerns and those concerns. But I mean, it was never, I don't know. Maybe I was just naive, I suppose.
Yeah.
I should have been smarter. Should have checked. Should have done more homework.
Yeah. Advice from your side, Jan?
Yeah, I think I can just say exactly what Marco said. But I think that specifically the part that, from the PA's point of view, is should have warned people to say, guys, these guys are now basically on that slippery slope. And if they don't come up with a thing, no more extensions, there's 3 months. And then, it could have handled much better.
Thank you guys for the chat.
If the PA sends a letter to the insurer and the PA expects the insurer to send to communicate that letter is going to lead to obviously them losing a lot of business.
Yes.
So I don't, that they're not going to send that letter out.
Yeah.
So it's got to actually be either forced, or it's got to be actually, where the insurer's got to actually be circumvented, and it's got to be sent to, you and I directly.
Yeah.
Where they don't even have a say.
Yeah, and I mean, in opposite in terms of, we can't do business unless we have a binder agreement in place. So they should have actually got to say, right, with who are all the partners involved with this thing, and then get back to that. Boom. Be warned. Heads up.
It was good to chat. It was good to just get a picture of behind the scenes. So thank you for your time. Anything else on your heart? We obviously speak to the brokers. anything else you just like to end off with, Jan?
All I can say is thank the good Lord, August is behind us, and since we're still dealing with a couple of challenges, but every day it gets a bit better. So
Okay.
And as Marcus said, we're now at least with a decent rated insurer. So,
I'd just like to thank them for standing behind us. Really, that's we'll always be grateful for that. The fact that there wasn't a run on our business and they didn't just panic, and they decided to follow us and stay with us. That is something that we'll always be grateful for. And also just to Guardrisk, once again, what a really an unbelievable company. What they've done to get this thing through, I'm sure, Jan, it's been the same with you. They have literally, they've defied the laws of physics to get this thing through, and they've done it. So just a massive, massive thank you to them.
That is fantastic. Well done then to Guardrisk from our side as well. And again, like you say, the sad situation for the amount of people who have lost their jobs. It is a sad situation. It's a sad situation for the industry as a whole.
Yep.
The bigger ramifications is massive.
One of the oldest insurers in the country, for goodness sake,
Yeah. So thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
And I'm very happy that you have found a home in Guardrisk, a fantastic company. So all the best going forward.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks for talking to us.
Okay.